currently a full stack engineer here in Korea, actually in Pangyo. Hope I'm not long. I mean, in Pangyo. I want to say Korea. Just want to switch the office. Anyway, I'm originally from Poland, and here,
money. Sorry.
As you know, here I'm responsible for the volunteers. So if you have any issues with anything, you can find my beautiful souls to help, or you can find me. And yeah, that's all. Chelsea?
Thank you. Okay, hopefully you all know by now, I'm Josie Dor. I'm the lead organizer of this hackathon. It's kind of my brainchild or my baby. It started last year because my New Year's resolution last year was to organize a hackathon. And this year, it was not my New Year's resolution. This year it was to learn to drive, but I still didn't do that yet. So I've got a couple months left.
Yeah.
I'm a full stack developer and I do tons of other things. So please connect with me on LinkedIn. You know, just say you're at the hackathon, and you know, maybe we can have coffee or a chat sometime. Okay.
Hey guys, my name is Andre, and I'm excited to be here with you guys. I run a company that focuses on AI software development, specifically using the state-of-the-art LLMs to automate and do a lot of really cool stuff with businesses that are busy and overwhelmed with like customer service and things like that. I'm also passionate about sharing all the insights that I've learned in my kind of long career that hasn't been a straight line. I've done marketing, I did law, I did representation. I did a lot of really interesting things in my life. So if anyone is trying to reinvent themselves or trying to find their path or do something interesting, I'm a pretty nice person to talk to about this.
Okay, do we have any other questions for anybody in the audience?
You can ask whatever you want, of course, within doubt, I guess.
Yeah.
But
What are your names again?
No, we're not doing that.
we're not doing that. If you're also curious about something about Hackathon or how we made it, I guess,
Yeah.
what was the hardest part, what was the funniest part, you can ask anything.
Right. Yep, good question.
Yeah.
As professionals working in Korea's IT space, do you find it stuff that is particularly lacking in Korea that places like Silicon Valley, Israel, London would have, but sorely lacking here in Korea?
Yeah, I've not been to Israel, but I have been to quite a few other capital cities and seen their tech scene, and it is very, very vibrant and alive. So hackathons like this, in our calendar, happen once a year. But if you're in London, you're in New York, San Francisco, Boston, even Tokyo, you can have these hackathons almost every week. So that's something that people aren't really interested in putting these things together. There's a lot less of a grassroots community. Most things are private or government-led. That would be my answer. Do you know that? Anyone else?
Well, I mean, a lot of people go into software engineering for money. And as much as we don't usually want to talk about it, I feel like compared to other big capitals, the pay in Korea is quite low, especially if you're entry level or junior. There's a lot of small companies that are very not secure, let's be honest, and they quite often go bankrupt, so the pay is not as good as if you go, I don't know, to United States or UK. And I think that's what's needed to be improved, especially because Korea is trying to get more like foreign force to work because they don't have enough specialists. So I think that's one thing that could be probably improved in the market, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great question. Do you have anything to add?
No. Okay.
We got another question.
How can people practice their skills so they can be ready for next year's hackathon? Do you have any suggestions?
First, we haven't decided if there will be one next year yet. I would say there are two really valuable skills when it comes to a hackathon. One of them is kind of a physical endurance, which maybe is hard to build up to. And the other one is learning how to build something with code extremely quickly. So in my case, I've run a couple of hackathons in the past, but before I did those hackathons, one thing I would do is I would set myself a challenge on a weekend. So Friday night or Saturday morning, I'd be like, okay, I want to make this website by Sunday night. It doesn't really matter to anyone else, but it's my own internal goal, so I will try some new technologies, I'll try some new frameworks, and try to do it just as quickly as possible. And I think with things like ChatGPT, it can be even faster than ever. But while you're doing that, if you find yourself stuck on something like you're spending 2 hours tweaking the design of a website you're trying to make, well, maybe try to decrease that time. So for some people, they get stuck more on the ideation or things like that. But set yourself goals and try to meet them. Try to actually finish projects. Like even if it's within a week or a month, actually finishing something that you started is a really, really important skill in tech.
What I would add onto, as you can see, I run around a lot and I talk to a lot of people. And what I notice is really important for my job, but also for you, is communication skills. A lot of tech people are introverted. I'm introverted. You might not believe me, but I am introverted. And I swear to God, I am. Please, I'm not lying. And it takes effort to be able to communicate with people, and especially if you want to communicate clearly. It's a hard thing to learn, but I believe everyone can learn it. And you start with small steps. Maybe join like a meetup, or you can join like a community and try to open yourself a bit more. At first it's gonna be really hard, especially if you're really shy, but with time it's gonna get better and better. And once you are better communicating, it's gonna help with a lot of stuff. You can do better planning. You can communicate your ideas more clearly. Tomorrow you're gonna do presentation. It's gonna be much easier once you get confident and you can do it. So while technical skills are extremely important for Hackathon, obviously you're coding for 24 hours. I think without communication, a lot of this stuff wouldn't be even possible. So that's one skill I would focus on, definitely.
Any communities you recommend specifically?
Am I allowed to promote anything? But there's a lot of communities on Meetup. You can check them out. There's a lot of coding communities. Pretty much, Josie is running one. It's either once a month, if I remember correctly. Beach is running one. It's every week. And I'm also joining there sometimes and helping. Andre is running one. I remember you, don't worry. So there's a lot of coding, but there's also other communities. You can always check it out. Don't feel worried about if your English is not perfect or if your Korean is not perfect. Don't worry about the stuff, because they don't matter in a large scale of things. We all start somewhere, but as long as you start, it's a good first step. So try getting into it, and once you do it, it's gonna be fine. If you want to make a community and you need somebody to lead, but you're not sure about it, you can also use our Discord to find the people that want to do something with you. Feel free to chat with other people if you have any ideas. So yeah.
I think one thing is important is when you're doing a hackathon, I've only done 2, but the second one, it was abysmal because we were not researching and doing.
That's not this one, right?
No, this one. Okay. It was in a hackathon, and it was some company. To try to promote their own, technology. But we found it really annoying because the documentation was weird and it was just confusing. And the entire team just dropped it. And I think you should choose hackathons which don't try to push their technology necessarily. Or if they do, it's actually well documented and it makes sense with their goals. Because that place, it was very confusing. I'm not going to name it, but I think that's very important. And the other thing is, communication. And more specifically, the first hackathon, I was lucky to work with a guy who won 6 hackathons in the Bay Area, and the Bay Area is more competitive. And he said the most important thing is sort of choosing a very, very simple goal, because most hackathons, it's not about how great your product is. It's first of all actually finishing something, which he says is quite rare. So actually building something is super important. So having really simple MVPs, because that's really all you can build, is a simple MVP, should be your primary objective. You should focus everything on that. That's what he recommended. I think, yeah.
I actually, shamefully, have not been a part of an actual hackathon as a contestant, but knowing what I know about leadership and communication and working together in a team successfully, I I am a big fan of the communication tip as well, just knowing how to empathize with others, knowing how to give them the space they need while also building synergy and effectively maybe pushing when you need to push, but also giving space when you need to give space, and having that emotional IQ, developing that, and you only get that by actually being part of teams, and even if you might experience some frustrations, learning how to navigate through those without causing drama or taking it personally or anything like that. But yeah, that only comes through experience and maybe reading some books.
Yeah, here is the question.
As you probably know, there's been a lot of influx of new people trying to break into the developer field. Is there any suggestion you would give to people to get kind of ahead of the curve, especially to the ones who are self-taught, whether it be in Korea or anywhere else around the world?
Yeah, I think it's not really possible to be ahead of the curve generally as a beginner, but what I always recommend people to do is build up a solid portfolio of things that you're actually passionate about. When I've seen other people's portfolio websites and resumes, and we've seen hundreds of them, they kind of all blur together, and you see hundreds of to-do lists and basic websites, and what always sticks out for me is the ones where you can tell someone had passion about it. Like, if someone's making a website about their local unicycle club, that's going to be something that sticks in your mind, and it's going to have a higher chance of, getting a job, because the most important thing is to be remembered. That is very, very critical, I would say. But of course, always keep learning, keep pushing yourself. I think there's a lot of really generic advice you could do, but try not to compare yourself too much to other people as well. I think everyone probably also has some advice for this.
Yeah, that's actually something that I'm passionate about talking, because I've entered new industries and I've needed to kind of build myself up in different ways. And I think knowing how to sell yourself is important too. Just having that confidence to say, you know what, I may not know everything, but I'm confident that I can learn it because I'm passionate about this and I can work hard at this. And you can communicate that by, like Josie said, building these projects, telling a story around them. But also taking the initiative to approach potential employers, potential clients, not just sitting and waiting and like submitting a resume like everybody else is submitting, but sending a cold email, sending a LinkedIn DM, right? Saying like, hey, I noticed that you're working on this project. Here's how I can contribute. Heck, here's how I already contributed. I built this thing for you. Check it out, right? That's initiative that I never see, but when I do see it, it's so rare and special that it stands out immediately. So, yeah, hope that helps.
In a moment. Before I forget, because my brain is not working. What I would say, there are two things. One, networking. Without networking, I wouldn't be where I am right now. And in a short period of time, I was able to become a hackathon organizer, right? I was able to find multiple companies. Even if one went bankrupt, I found another one really quickly, right? And I don't think I'm an amazing developer. I'm doing it for quite a long time, but I don't think I'm above anyone. I don't think I'm amazing. I don't code all the time in my free time, right? But what I found is that networking and finding the right people to be your friends, to be your mentors, finding a mentor is a really good thing, because one, you're gonna really quickly solve your issues. Because if you have an issue and you're gonna, you can search on your own, that's also a good thing. But if you find a mentor that can explain it to you, you're gonna get it much easier and it's gonna stick with you. And also, if you network, there will be people that can help you find a job, that they can recommend you. It's sort of what Andre said. You can reach out to those people, and if they have any information, if they have anything, they are gonna tell you. So that will be one thing. And another thing is, don't do stuff just because you think they are popular, or just because you think they are like, I don't know, because somebody told you that in Seoul right now everybody are searching for this specific technology. Find a technology that you like, that you feel like you are gonna get good at, that you find easy to learn for you, because it's, even you on forums, people say C is easy to learn, people say Rust is easy to learn, JavaScript, all of them are not. But find something that you like, that is gonna be not boring when you do it, and like Josie said, do a passion project. Find something that is going to be really interesting to you, even if it's not super popular. I know we focus a lot on work because that's our final goal, right? But at the same time, what's the point if you're not going to learn it? There's no point in that, right? Anything like that?
I guess because we're more Central Asian. There's this one friend of mine who was from Kyrgyzstan, and he did a business school, and he wanted to self-taught because he couldn't get any job in Korea of his degree because he couldn't speak Korean properly. And he basically, if I'm correct, he got a good job now. He made enough money to pay for his marriage, so I think he's doing good. But he basically reached out to the CEO of that company on top of the resume that he applied because no one seems to really respond. So he actually reached out to the CEO, if I'm correct, and that, he said, was like the big unlock, and he was able to become friends with the CEO. So I think that's really helpful, specifically.
Bitch, you wanted to ask me?
Yeah, one thing to add for the self-taught path. So I'm a hiring manager for software engineers. If you don't know theory, I will stomp on it, right? So, and a lot of the self-taught path doesn't go over theory, right? So, for example, we have people applying for like a Java Spring development position, and I'd be like, what's inversion of control? And they'd be like, in the who to what control? Like, if you don't know that, or if I explain it to you and you're like, I have no idea what that is, you're out immediately, right? A lot of the networking, the doing stuff that stands out, excellent advice, absolutely 100%, and that will get you an interview. But when you get into the interview, if you can't answer basic theory questions, you're out. Now, studying all the computer science theory is like, no, it's too much, right? But figure out what like the big main parts are, and that's usually enough to help get you by.
And on top of that, a lot of companies, people are posting actual questions and actual assignments. You can find them online. So if you have an idea what language you want to apply for, you can find them, you can check them out and prepare. Don't study only this, but before the interviews, if you're going to apply for the jobs, you can check them out and prepare better. Yeah, definitely. Okay, there was one more question. Yeah.
Yeah, so this question is for guys that are actually studying computer software in school.
I did, yeah.
So I feel like for most of us, especially like non-graduates, we just get like touch everything, and then when we are done with school, like we can actually have like something we are really good at. So
Yeah.
like, what's your advice about that?
I struggle with that too. I graduated good university. Everybody were like, oh my god, you're gonna get the best jobs and everything. And then I ended up not knowing what I'm doing. So what I would recommend, yes, study for your exams, study the theory. Like we said, it's important for interviews and stuff like that. But find early what you kind of want to go into. Rather, because a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I studied AI, I studied, I don't know, backend, I studied this, that. And then they go for interview, and interviewer asks them, okay, so do you know this, and they're like, yeah, kinda, I don't know what's happening. So try to, especially maybe in the third year, because first, second, you're just starting. A lot of people don't know coding even in the first year. But once you're in the third year, find what you kinda want to get into, and start doing a lot of solo projects when you have a free time. And that's how you can kinda start building the portfolio and get into it. Of course, it can change for you, right? But as long as you start building that early, it's going to be much easier for you. I started it too late, in my opinion. I started it pretty much my last few months in the university. And then I was like, what am I applying with? What do I actually know? Especially because a lot of universities don't teach you how to write code. And it's a big issue. They teach you the theory. You are going to learn everything about all the useless algorithms. But then you want to apply for front-end and you actually don't know front-end, right? So find out what you want to do and start doing it your own self-study. One more thing I would recommend, if you know at least a bit of Korean, you could try to apply for a lab even as an undergraduate student. A lot of professors have labs. It's not an easy job. It's not nice quite often. But it can get you a bit further, especially if you want to go into a field like machine learning, AI, or stuff like that, right? Is there anything more specific you would like to know? No? Did I answer your question? Okay.
Oh, sorry. So what happens if you're like interested in like two fields like at the same time?
Well, what happened with me, I was also interested in two fields. focus more on the one that is gonna get you a job. But don't completely throw away the other one. Just figure out like a schedule or like a planning something. Find out what is easier for you to learn. Find out in which field you can find a mentor maybe or a professor that is gonna help you. Because yeah, there's like I have a lot of interests. I also did a double major with 3 different majors, which is like a lot of stuff. But I knew that okay, yeah, I can study linguistics additionally, for example, right? It's a different major, but this is not gonna get me a job. So if you're focused, find your focus. If your goal is to find a job, find the one that is gonna be easier for you to later to find a job and focus on that. In your additional time, you can double a bit in the other one. But if your focus is like having fun, getting, I don't know, hobby or making like your own company, then focus on the one that is gonna give you that.
Okay, we have time for one very short question.
So including mealtime and bathroom time, you guys, I mean, all the hackers only have less than 10 hours, I think, sleeping time.
Depending how long you take in the bathroom. Yeah.
But if you were in the hackathon, what would you be focusing on? What one thing that would you be focusing on?
Well, I wouldn't spend 3 hours in the bathroom.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's cut that out.
Yeah.
I'd probably eat while I was typing. Just, try to shave down time. Try to get minimal sleep. I think in previous hackathons that I've won, I usually slept maybe 2 hours, between 3 and 5 a.m. Yeah, it's hard to say because everyone is a little bit different, but I think, yeah, just focus on the code, and as Ellen said earlier, you want to keep it simple. Don't overstretch yourself. Keep it simple. Once you have one feature done, you're sure it's not going to be buggy when you demo it, then you can move on to the next one. Don't try to do 10 features all at once. Okay, can we get one more short answer? You want an answer?
You want an answer?
No?
No?
All right, then we're going to wrap it up here so that our younger audience are able to leave safely and our Ellen as well. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us for this Fireside Chats. Okay, let's go find our underage participants.
Oh, I'm not going to come here.